Okay, so I'm just going to very quickly give a few tips, I guess, for Scout Fly Boosted because I notice, especially with newer runners, that they all have the same problem. And I think it stems from not understanding what you're doing wrong when you attempt this trick. Because it's one thing to get good at a trick, but another one is to understand what you're doing wrong when you're getting it wrong. So I'm going to try and explain what I think is going wrong when something in particular happens, and you can use it to improve your own Scout Fly boosted. But also when you get it wrong, you'll know what you did wrong, hopefully, so you can avoid it happening again. So the thing that I see almost every new runner doing is they end up doing this, which is punching. It looks like they punch directly into the floor, and that is what you are doing. But the mistake that people make is they see that happening and they think, so right there I didn't actually do that, but they see that and they think what is happening is they are pressing X too late. So I have my input viewer on here, and I'm going to show you a successful one, and you'll see how slowly you can do the X input. Okay, that's not going to work. Now, obviously you need to do it reasonably quickly, but you can see from that, and I'll do it a few more times, that you do not have to rush it as fast as you can in order to get a Scout Fly boosted. And a lot of new runners think that you have to press them really quickly, and that the reason they are punching straight into the floor is because they are punching and not getting the second part of the uppercut off quick enough, and that's just not true. That can be the case, but I'll show you exactly what that looks like. Okay, not that. That's exactly what I'm not trying to show. It is pretty hard to fail this on purpose. But you see here, there you go. So you see where I am right here? See how much further I am than... This is what happens when new runners fail the trick. Looks like that. See, I'm right next to the box. The difference is new runners are punching straight downwards, whereas what I am doing is I'm punching, I'm doing the first part of the boosted and getting distance, but then I'm not turning it into an uppercut, and then I hit the ground because I'm not pressing X quick enough. So to explain it a bit more, when you're running off the box, you are running off the box, but you're not running too far. With a normal boosted, you want to wait until Jack has fallen off the ledge before you do the uppercut. But with a Scout Fly boosted, it's not quite that simple. You need him to run off the ledge, but you need him to not be falling down yet. So it's why you sort of run off. Okay, and the box jump there. You run off, but you immediately, if you're doing a zoom boosted, you immediately, or almost immediately zoom. And it's why you also don't run directly off the box, like you don't run sideways off it like that. Because you see, I immediately, almost immediately, I drop down. That was very weird. And so what you'll see me doing, and a lot of other successful runners with LTS, is they will be running at an angle, in this sort of angle. And the reason we do that is to try and limit how far we actually run off the box. And instead we try and run along the side of the box instead. Again, this is all just to make sure that we do run off the box, but we don't run so far off it that we actually start to fall. And that is, I guess, the main difference between this and a regular boosted off any other kind of ledge. Because a regular boosted, you would want to wait until Jack has actually fallen off before you do the uppercut. But it's sort of an intermediate. But in between being on the box and being off the box is where is the sweet spot for this trick. So let's just recap. If you have gone too far off the box, then it will look like that, and you will punch straight into the floor right next to the box. If you are doing your X input too slowly, which is unlikely, but it's possible, then it looks more like that, and you'll get a lot further with your punch. That is what it looks like when you don't press X fast enough, which is what almost all failures of this trick don't look like. So yeah, I feel like that's probably the most important thing to say, because I think that's what most people think. So if you're doing that, okay, that was actually fine. But if you're going too far off, and you can see Jack actually drop significantly, there, I'm sort of still getting it in a sweet spot there, but if I really overdo it, I punch straight down into the floor. And so the way, again, that we mitigate that is by not running directly off the box. And there, the box jumped. We do it by running sideways along the box. And there, that was a good one, except I clipped the box on my way and broke it. But you see, I did get a boost. Now, of course, the other way you can fail it is by not going far enough off the box. And that is how you get that, which is just an uppercut without a boosted. See, that's a good one. So now we have the three, I would say, common ways that you fail this trick is: 1, you don't go far enough off the box. That was a weird one, but that's because the box jumped and pushed me off. One is you don't go far enough off the box and you just do an uppercut. But crucially, you don't punch into the floor because you're traveling along the top of the box, which gives you the distance. The next one is, well, this isn't a failure, it's just a successful one. You hit the sweet spot. And then the third case is you did it too late, assuming the box doesn't jump. You do it too late and you just punch straight into the floor. So those are your three cases. There are obviously other cases, like, yes, if the box jumps when you're mid uppercut, then it can mess you up. The other one I already demonstrated by accident is hitting the box with your uppercut. If you clip the box with the uppercut, then you can break it. And I don't know if I've ever seen somebody do the uppercut off the left side of the box, break it, and still make it. I think you might be able to do it off this side of the box, break it, and still make it, but just doing the uppercut off this side of the box is a lot harder anyway. So just don't even worry about that. But yeah, I've probably rambled on longer than I really needed to, but the key thing to remember is just because you're punching into the floor does not mean you're being too slow on your inputs. It's actually more likely that your setup was bad, and I hope this video makes it obvious why. So yeah, gaming. Okay, so I just want to quickly mention something that never actually really gets talked about is the spin at the end. And really, what I wanted to say is that the spin is actually very lenient. That I did it about as quick as I could, and I almost still made it anyway. That was still early, but you can see I still made it. And so the reality is, if you're not making it, it's probably your boosted that's the problem, and it's not the spin. That's not to say you can't do the spin too early, because I already showed you can do it too early. But the point is, you can vary the time of the spin quite a lot. That time, you see I was too far left. I also didn't have great distance on the boosted. That was about as late as possible. Still made it. That was a very early spin, still made it. So you get the point. The spin isn't really that important. The thing about the spin is it gives you that extra distance you need, but it's not so precise that you need to time it very well. It's also very useful positioning for if you're a little bit to the left, you can pull yourself to the right and vice versa. So I wouldn't worry too much about your spin, but that's the sort of timing that you want. So I would say wait until Jack starts falling down before you spin. But if you're messing it up, it's probably not the spin. So look at your setup and boosted execution a bit more before you think about the spin.